Okay, here's a cartoon that claims capitalism is bad and that more government is good. And Dapperton did this video already, but I'm gonna have a stab at it to disprove it. So here we go.
Once upon a time, there was a land that was happy and prosperous.
Okay, this once upon a time, I believe, refers to the mid 20th century, you know, the 1950s. I mean, Dapperton was saying that it does. He's more of an expert on these things than I am, so I'm going to trust him. So the 1950s and, you know, similar times, we're going to refer to that.
It had a great education system, safe streets, and jobs for everyone. There were a few poor people and a few rich people. Most were in the middle. The people of this land paid for their good life by investing in their future together. They called this paying taxes.
Okay, look. Taxation is theft, right? And theft is bad for society, right? My damn tongue could. If taxation is theft and theft is bad for society, how the hell does theft help society? How the hell does this taxation help society? I mean, taxation doesn't help. It's the free market that helps. The free market is what provides people of all these goods and services, you know, these houses, these homes, these vehicles, cars, buildings, furniture, you know, electronics, technology, all that shiz. And taxes just take away from all that. They make providing goods and services more inefficient. And people like to bring up my roads, yet the roads are built by private companies that the government contracts with. Well, what if you could pay those private companies directly to build the roads instead of paying the government by force to doohickey around with the funds for the roads? I mean, people don't mention this, and yet this could definitely work. So anyways, moving on.
Everyone paid what they could afford. The poor people paid a little, the people in the middle paid a middling amount, and the rich people, 1% of everyone, paid more than the others. Just about everyone thought this was best.
Considering taxation's theft, I wouldn't consider it exactly fair, you know, anyone paying any amount of taxes, but I guess I see where he's coming from.
But over time, rich people decided they weren't rich enough.
Okay, how can you be rich enough? How can there be a limit on how much you're supposed to make, on how prosperous and wealthy you're supposed to be? I call bullshit in that. There shouldn't be a limit on how rich you can be. It's like rich people have too much money, or they already have enough, they want more. Well, okay, well, how is that bad? How can you have too much? Relative to what? I mean, as long as you don't steal the money, I don't see a problem. So, anyways, once again, moving on.
So they came up with ways to get richer. The first way was through tax cuts. They didn't mind if this meant fewer services for everyone. They said, why should I care about other non-rich people? I can hire teachers, safety, waste disposal people to work for me for less money than taxes cost.
Okay, if you can do it for less money than taxes cost, then why the hell isn't everyone doing it that way? It's like, private services that are better and cheaper than taxes. Let's keep doing taxes, people. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. If it's better and it's cheaper, go for it.
And then I can keep the rest of my taxes for me.
Well, technically it's been your money all along. Taxation's theft. Don't have time saying this, but it bears repeating for some reason.
The second way rich people got richer.
That bag of money falling, you know, way after all good ones fell. Comedy. That's actually pretty funny. I don't know.
It was through tax loopholes. These are laws that allow people to avoid paying taxes, with the idea that it's beneficial for other people too, if this group didn't pay.
Okay, let's look up what a tax loophole is. A tax loophole. Oh, okay. Okay, let's look at Wikipedia. I don't know. Okay, let's just look at dictionary.com. Provision of laws governing taxation allows people to reduce their taxes. Well, it's a reduction of taxes. It's not just not paying taxes at all. That's important to acknowledge.
Third way rich people got richer was to pay no taxes at all. This is called tax evasion. Of course, if all the people did this...
Damn, they noticed him slipping out right when he did it. Whoa, wait a second. How come she doesn't notice that he slipped out? If anyone notices it, it should be her, because she's the one collecting the damn the damn taxes. These people notice it right when it fucking happens, but not the person collecting the taxes. I'm sorry, guys, but that's pretty damn funny.
everything would fall apart. But
What?
rich people and giant companies they owned figured no one would notice. This is illegal, but many did it anyway.
Why would society fall apart just because you don't have your money stolen? That's basically what this guy's saying. By saying, if rich people don't pay their taxes, society falls apart. Or if people don't pay their taxes, society falls apart. It's like, you know, basically he's saying, if people don't steal from other people, society falls apart, which makes no sense. You know, I'd say that the opposite would happen. Society would be more together and stable if we weren't robbed by the government. But, you know, just being a pro-government cartoon is gonna say stuff like that. And as for tax evasion, let's see. Okay. Alright, well. Okay, let's see what the has anything. States. Anyways. Even if tax evasion is illegal, and even if the rich are doing it, I say they have the right to, since that's their money.
And so it went. In 20 years, rich people doubled their share of the land's income. Schools, public safety, the roads, parks, libraries, public transportation all went into decline.
Wait, when did that happen? Rich paying less taxes leads to people, public services going downhill? What?
The rich people didn't care. They said everyone gets what they deserve, and they bought their own teachers, police, garbage collectors, and transportation.
You can do that today and not even be rich. Middle class people can afford private school, private trash pickup, and
Police, garbage collectors.
private security too. Yeah, rich people can afford more and better versions of that, but still, private people, I mean, middle class can afford it. This guy, you know, he's not making any sense by acting like only the rich have this stuff.
And transportation. They also bought something else, elections. They spent so much money on politics, they elected people who liked what they liked.
Okay, this right here proves why we shouldn't have a government. If you have an organization that can be controlled by the elite, and which is elitist in and of itself, then you just shouldn't have it. If government's supposed to serve everyone fairly or equally, but all you have to do to get it to cater to you is to bribe it, then why even have it? You know, it's not going to be truly equal and fair if a rich guy, if an elitist can just pay off a politician. I wouldn't call that a system that keeps people safe. or stable. You know, I mean, oh, you just have to pay it off, and then it caters to you exclusively at the expense of other people. Yeah, we should still have that system. I mean, come on.
More tax cuts for the rich and big businesses, and fewer schools, road repairs, police, firefighters, and nurses for everyone else. When the 99% became upset, the rich people and their politicians said, "There is no other way." They repeated this so often many people believed them. Meanwhile, instead of investing in things that most people could use, and instead of providing jobs that paid people well like they used to, rich people found they could make more money on Wall Street. Wall Street is a place where money makes money.
Okay, that doesn't seem like a very accurate definition of Wall Street. I mean, if he means where money is printed, he's dead wrong. Money is printed at the U.S. Treasury, and often dealt with by the Federal Reserve, both of which suck ass. And the stock market, well, you buy percentages of a corporation called stocks, and depending on how much percentage you bought is how much money you get when the corporation gets money. You know, I mean, it's a percentage. It's a share of a company. You pay money to get some of their money that they earn. You know, it's an investment. You pay them money, they pay you money. You know, if they make some. Heck, let's even look it up. Stock market, or how does the stock market work? Okay, stock market. What is stock market? How does it work? Okay, major stock indexes. Okay, how does stock market? Okay, contents. Running like an auction house, stock enables buyers and sellers to negotiate prices of trades. Internal pump, initial pump offering. So stocks. Okay, well, it's kind of complicated for me to really nail it down, but I wouldn't simply call the stock market a place where money makes money. I mean, if you, it's just not accurate. I think I can say that much.
Here, the 1% made money so fast that they devoted more and more money to it. They took some of that money.
Well, that kind of makes sense. If you find a good way to make money, you're gonna want to try to get the most out of it.
And sent it far away, where workers had no rights to produce things that workers used to produce here.
Yeah, and the reason why jobs get sent overseas is because of the government. You know, having all these fucking regulations makes it so companies may not even have a choice to go to a place where there aren't so many fucking regulations to get their employees to do the work over there. I mean, if you want to keep jobs over here, then don't have government. You know, like, okay, let's look up outsourcing government. Outsourcing jobs. Government. How about this? Government outsources jobs. All right. Um. Government sends jobs overseas. Okay, let's see. Um, Alright, let's look at this. Then too, there were all sorts of government mandates and regulations which added to business costs and widened the gap between labor costs at home and vis-a-vis overseas labor costs. So, yeah, I blame government for that. Alright, back to the video.
When ordinary people wondered why rich people needed so much money,
Oh, once again, it's not about needs, it's about what you want, okay? You can't say someone has too much of X, Y, and Z. You know, it's their life. They get to decide how much of something they want. It's nobody's business but their own.
the 1% said, "Don't worry. This is good for you too, because it will trickle down from us to you. Someday you'll be rich, and then the rules we made for us will be your rules too."
Okay.
Some people weren't so sure about this, so
Okay, trickle-down economics isn't real. It's just like, you know, term some politicians use to expand the government, you know, one way or another. It's not really how it works, and if it was, it'd be bullshit. I mean, why only receive trickles when you can have so much more, you know? I mean, doesn't really make any sense.
the rich people bought newspapers and TV and radio stations and internet companies and paid them to repeat over and over, "Someday you will be rich."
Well, yeah, this is why we have something called the alternative media. So in case the mainstream media is bullshit, you can go to someone else alternatively who isn't bullshit. This would be why we have the alternate media like me, you know, covering all these world issue topics and saying how things really are. Though there are people who do it far better than me.
Two, there is no alternative. Soon you could hear people saying, "There is no other way. Someday we'll be rich." Meanwhile, the rich people's money piled higher and higher. But after a while, it was piled too high. One day, the money fell down with a big crash. It fell down right on the houses of millions of ordinary people. It broke their houses. Then more money towers fell down. They fell on ordinary people's jobs. This is terrible. Everyone was scared.
Okay, what I believe he's referring to is the 2008 recession, which heavily involved, you know, the bailouts, the 2008 bailouts for the banks and automotive companies. I wouldn't exactly call that money towers falling down on people's shit as an accurate way to describe that. I guess we can even look it up. 2008 recession. We look at the Great Recession. Let's see, Great Economic Decline, World Markets, country pauses, panel reports, narrative trading market, defaults, monetary policy. Okay, well, I think the housing bubble refers to the houses. You know, money towers crashing on people's houses, but I wouldn't just simply say, oh, rich people make money. That somehow fucks up your house. And then, what else? Monetary policy, centralized, opaque, and competitive competition with monetary revenue. Well, pretty much every bank in the U.S. that deals with fiat currency is tied to the government, which, you know, prints out the fiat currency. So I'd say that's the government's fault. Yeah, so it's not money towers falling on people's houses.
How did this happen? The government said, we have to fix this. They were so used to rich people being...
Well, government sucks balls at fixing things. I mean, taking all people's money, taking all these people's money, calling it, yeah, taking everyone's money, 2009, okay, wow. Economic Emergency Stabilization Act, what's the name? Okay. Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson. George Bush signed into law. Yeah. Okay, so you gotta pay all this tax money to banks and automotive companies that were failing. $29 trillion of tax. Don't think they really deserve it, at least not by force from other people, but you had to pay it anyway. Yeah, nice job, government. Ruining the economy and then making people pay. The elites ruined it to fix it. Yeah, that doesn't work.
Being rich, they immediately started printing money and giving it to rich people. But they didn't give any to the ordinary people whose houses and jobs were broken by the crash.
Right, printing money? I don't think that's what happened. Let's look. Oh, shit. I don't see anything about printing money here, but the thing is, printing money wouldn't help because it leads to inflation. In fact, you could even argue printing money in and of itself is inflation. So people would be forced to buy less stuff with more money, so it really wouldn't help them. You know, money has to be earned. There has to be labor, goods and services, gold, silver, whatever backing that money. I mean, if you just get money for free and you don't do a job to buy goods and services, that isn't really helping anyone. I mean, if people just did nothing, then there'd be no goods and services to buy or even get for free in the first place. So, yeah, not a good idea. I don't think that's even what happened.
Those people said, you give the rich people money to replace their money that got lost in the crash. Why aren't you giving us any to fix our houses and our jobs? They got broken in the crash too.
Well, you see, yeah, the Economic Stabilization Act is made by elites for elites. So, yeah, if you're not part of the elite, you aren't gonna get anything. Sorry, but hey, that's what elites do.
The government had no answer. Now the people got mad. Since they weren't sure who to be madder at, the government or rich people, they got mad at both. Rich people got worried. They thought if the people get mad enough at us, they might take some of our money. This really upset the rich people, because they loved their money more than anything in the whole world. So they devised a plan. They called it, look over there! Whenever people said, how come you rich people are getting richer while all the rest of us are losing our houses, our jobs, and our schools, the rich people pointed at someone else and said, look over there! First they pointed at the people whose houses were broken and said, look over there! Poor people caused the crash. They built their houses in the wrong place. If they hadn't done that, the money wouldn't have fallen on them.
What? Really? Poor people building their house in the wrong place, so... And the money towers fell on it and it was the wrong place to build the house? I don't think that's accurate at all. You know, you got all this elitism, government makes you pay for rich people's mistakes, the rich elites' mistakes. And you're saying, oh, you're saying that they said poor people built their houses in the wrong place and got hit by the money towers, though I don't think they actually said that all, nor did it really happen.
Most people didn't believe them. So the rich people pointed at someone else this time, teachers. They said, look over there! Teachers have jobs and you don't. No one can ever fire them, and lots of teachers are bad. The schools are failing, teachers are the reason. Bad teachers. Bad teachers.
And it's true, it's hard to fire a teacher. It's hard to fire a bad teacher. It's hard to fire any teacher, really. Here, let me show you. Teachers can't be fired. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, well, technically they can, but they often don't. Okay, so let's look at this. Why don't teachers get fired for teaching? Okay, research. Alright, well, let's look. Why it can take, right, okay, end of the process. Here, this should be good. No. State and local policy makes it complicated and cumbersome to fire him, even if he's demonstrated time and time again that he's a poor educator. Yep, that's government schooling for you. You know, can't handle justice with it. Can't even handle normal justice. Yeah. But I guess I digress.
Most people didn't believe this. They remembered the problem was the crash, not bad teachers. The rich...
You didn't describe the crash very well, so I wouldn't go off for that too much.
People realized it might be safer for them if someone else pointed their fingers. So they took some of their money, and even though it was just a little bit of their money, it was a lot of money since they had so much. They helped more people get elected. These...
Okay, so once again, if you have an organization which can be bribed, which helps the elite at the non-elite's expense, you shouldn't have said organization.
Politicians pointed their fingers at police, firefighters, librarians, and other public employees. They said, look over there! These people are greedy. They have jobs and you don't. You don't have retirement plans and they do. They caused the crash.
Corrupt as politicians are, I don't think anyone said that either.
Some people thought this might be true. They knew someone or something had caused the money to fall. Maybe it was the firefighters. But others remembered that firefighters helped them when their houses were on fire. They also remembered it was the 1% who built the money towers that crashed on their houses and jobs. Some people even remembered those towers of money had replaced factories and jobs that people used to have.
Okay, you shouldn't be focusing exclusively, indiscriminately on the 1%. You should just be focusing on the elite. People that use the government to steal people's money in the form of tax dollars, to receive it in the forms of subsidies and, you know, bailouts and economic stimulus packages to line their pockets. You should be focusing on the elite rich, not the normal rich. Being rich doesn't make you bad inherently.
And those jobs used to have retirement plans too. And the ordinary people remembered that the teachers and firefighters lived in their neighborhoods and shopped in the same stores and didn't seem to be the problem at all. The people looked around. They saw too many students in their classrooms. They saw their roads filling with holes.
Yeah, government shit at the roads.
They saw when they needed help, it took longer to arrive. People began to say, maybe rich people have too much money now.
Once again, not the problem. It's not about rich people having too much money, it's about them stealing it with government. That's the problem. A guy could be getting richer and richer, he could be a billionaire or even a quadrillionaire, and I wouldn't give a fuck as long as, he's not stealing that money. It's fine. It's fine to make a lot of money. Just don't steal it.
And maybe our problems have something to do with the 1% not paying their fair share of taxes. And also,
Fair share of, oh my god. Rich pay the most in taxes. Okay, let's check this out. Okay. Internal Revenue Service, rich taxpayers for earning. Let's look up rich. Okay, it's kind of good. The 2016 IRS data shows taxpayers with higher incomes pay much higher average income taxes than lower income taxpayers. 100% taxpayers in average income tax. The top 1% taxpayers paid the highest effective income tax, roughly 26.9%, more than 7 times the rate faced by the bottom 50% taxpayers. So, to say, the rich don't pay taxes, that's incredibly, that's incredibly intellectually dishonest, because they pay the most in taxes. Now, do I support, the rich being elitists? No, I don't, but I also acknowledge if they're paying the most in taxes, they're paying the most in taxes. Okay. Okay, top 10, 1%, 7% income taxes. I think we just looked at that. Yeah, they definitely pay the most. Alright, so I don't see how you could say they aren't paying their fair share when they clearly are. It's like, what, do you want their fair share to be even more money that they pay? Because that would be more theft as well as less business and less jobs and less of everything for people. It's not a good idea to have anyone pay more in taxes.
Also, maybe rich people should pay the same rate of taxes they used to when our land was prosperous and more people were better off. The rich people...
Wait, wouldn't that be less? I thought you wanted them to pay more.
heard these things and grew worried. They told their politicians to pass laws to prevent people from organizing, prevent people from voting, prevent people from having retirement plans.
Okay, I don't know if they went that far to prevent people from organizing, voting, for retirement plans, but once again, if certain people can get an organization which is supposed to be fair to cater towards them, then that organization isn't fair. In fact, I'd say that organization isn't fair inherently. I mean, government is a monopoly enforced arbitration. And if it has the potential to be unfair, I'd say it already is unfair. So, yeah. No government. No more government, please. Please.
But now that people understood the problem, it was rich people who crashed their money onto their houses and jobs. It was the 1% who got politicians to cut their taxes.
Okay, the elite, but, which is composed of the government and their corporate lackeys, yeah, those people definitely caused the crash. I will give it that.
So there wasn't enough for schools, safe streets, libraries, healthcare, and parks. And there was rich people blaming everyone but themselves for what had happened. This is where we are now.
Tax corporations, tax the rich, jobs now. Well, funny thing is, they're already taxed, as I explained, and taxing even more would lead to more job loss. So, yeah. Counterproductive much?
And we have a question. Is there no alternative?
99%.
Can the people of this land do something to live happily ever after?
Well, we can do something. It's called get rid of fucking government. As I keep saying, as we Ancaps keep trying to warn people. Hope I'm not tooting my horn or Ancap's horns or anything, but it's the truth. I mean, we really don't need government, and we really have been trying to warn people for quite some time that we shouldn't have government. I mean, the writing is on the wall, and yet we still have government, and big government to boot. So, try not to be arrogant. Trying not to be arrogant. I'm trying not to, be degrading. I'm just a bit tired though of the government still being supported and shit like that. So yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope you liked. I'm kind of amateurish at this. I hope I did better. I hope I did a better job than I think I did. I hope I did a good job, But anyways, yeah, that's that.